We have the virtue talk, the virtue of fortitude. And fortitude, we know fortitude, another word for it is courage, and so we know what that is. But I think where we want to be really clear and recognize where the cardinal virtue of courage, the cardinal virtue of fortitude is different from just mere courage from a secular perspective or from a non-Christian perspective, has to do with the end, the goal, the purpose, right? It's one thing to just have courage. For example, a soldier in battle has great courage, or a professional athlete has great courage. Somebody who is wanting to do a lot of evil and who does something when he or she is afraid, but they do it anyways because they think it's good, but when it objectively isn't. From a worldly perspective, we can say they have courage because they're acting even though they are afraid. They're going forward even though they're experiencing fear. Those things obviously wouldn't be a Christian virtue, right? It wouldn't be the Christian understanding of the cardinal virtue of courage. So what is it? What is the Christian understanding? The goal is heaven. The end, the purpose is salvation, is sanctification, is perfection. Right? We talked about yesterday or the day before about perfection meaning to be made through. So to be fully developed in the way God intends, to become fully human. God made us in his image and likeness, but we've lost the likeness in the fall. But now God is wanting to restore us. He's wanting to make us through. And that includes to develop all the virtues, including the virtue of fortitude. But for what end? For the end of being perfected, of being saved, of being sanctified, of being holy, of being one with God, of being one like Christ. And so that's the thing to keep in mind, right? So it's to go forward even when we're afraid, but not just to go forward in any direction or in what direction seems right or convenient, but to go forward in the direction of holiness. And so I'll go through the notes here, but I think that's really the main point. Fortitude. So life can be hard. What do you do when you face difficulty? Do you stand firm or do you cave into fear or doubt? And especially, again, I'll just keep saying this in regards to love and sin, right? So if I have to do something that's an example of love, of true love, of charity, then and it's difficult, and I have fear or doubt, do I go forward and do it, or do I cave? Fortitude enables one to endure difficulties for the sake of what is good. So we have to know what is good. Fortitude ensures firmness in difficulties and constancy in the pursuit of good. It moderates the emotions of anger and fear, which come into play when a person faces complex and difficult situations, such as the threat of evil. And of course, the threat of evil can be external or it can be internal. But when I'm facing those threats, do I get taken over by anger and or fear? Or does the virtue of fortitude moderate those emotions so that I can go forward in doing good? Allows us to resist temptation, avoid sin, and grow in holiness with God's help. Christian martyrdom is a shining example of fortitude in action. See, here's a great illustration. A worldly understanding of fortitude, which have as its end the longevity of life, the health of life, the material collection, and so forth. material prosperity. The worldly understanding of fortitude would say, I'm going to do the things that are going to help me have a long life, that are going to help me to have a prosperous life, health, wealth, etc. Okay, that's not the Christian understanding of fortitude. The Christian understanding of fortitude is to go forward in doing good, in choosing the good, in growing in holiness, in choosing love, even at the cost of my life. And that's what the martyrs exemplify for us. Now, just to be clear, of course, when one is doing that, one is going forward, surely God can give them long life and health and material prosperity. So, of course, we know that. It's not to say those things are evil, but it's to make a distinction of the goal, of the end, of the purpose. That's what it's about. So to practice fortitude, to show firmness in difficulties, to be constant in the pursuit of good, to not engage in gossip or participating in unjust acts, to moderate the emotions of anger and fear. There's an example here of Saint No Mawagli. He was a craftsman in Uganda. Hearing of Christianity, he asked to be taught about the faith. He began to walk 42 miles each weekend to get to Mass, courageously crossing through the dangerous jungle. Eventually, he was baptized and began to instruct others in the faith. Early one morning, No was teaching 2 catechumens when a raiding party closed in on the house. They were ordered by King Mwanga to execute any Christians who clung to their faith. No heard the raiders outside and boldly went to meet them. "Here we are," he exclaimed as his companions escaped. So a great example of somebody exercising fortitude. And they have a symbol for us to remember, to give us a visual, the symbol of a shield. Right? So to withstand evil, temptation, whether external or internal. And so we recognize areas in which we lack fortitude, and we all do in some way. And that is just an opportunity for us to ask the Lord, Lord, give me fortitude. Lord, help me to withstand trial. And then as we go forward, we also become attentive to opportunities to exercise fortitude. And in one way, we don't have to go looking for them. Opportunities to exercise fortitude come to us. Uninvited, they come to us. But also we can choose opportunities, such as fasting, right? That's one reason why we fast on certain days, is to okay, so even though I'm hungry right now, I made the decision this morning or yesterday to skip this meal, so I'm gonna withstand this little trial, and I'm gonna wait until the next meal or whenever it is that I said I would break the fast. So we can choose little things like that, and also just be open to the opportunities that come to us to say yes to God, to grow in fortitude. Lord Jesus, with you I can do all things. If anything today seems difficult, embarrassing, or unpopular, yet I know that it is the right thing to do. Please give me the grace and strength to do it, no matter the cost.